Hi Aries, welcome to your Love TarotScope for July 2018. This is Teresa from Tarot by T, and I want to say thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for choosing me for those who have ordered readings. Thank you for those who have taken the time out to comment. I've really enjoyed reading all of your comments. So this month is eclipse month. We're in the eclipse season. Mars is retrograde. Mercury will be going retrograde at the end of the month. We have a new moon eclipse in Cancer and a full moon eclipse in Aquarius. So let's see what's coming up for Aries in love and relationships for the month of July. What does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of July? May only the highest forces be present to ensure that the truth be told. What does Aries need to know? Chiron has moved into your sign. Uranus has moved out. Uranus is in Taurus now. So that'll be shaking up your financial situation. But let's see what Aries needs to know. For the month of July. The Ten of Pentacles. The Five of Swords. The Two of Cups. The Four of Pentacles. The Ten of Swords. The Page of Cups. The Page of Swords. The Lovers. The Star. And the Two of Wands. So, you start out with the Ten of Pentacles crossed by the Five of Swords. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of wealth and security. It could be a relationship that you feel, or you're looking for financial security in the month of July. But you have this Five of Swords crossing. So I feel like there might be some situation is coming to a head and possibly an end. Some situation that has given you security. It could be a relationship. Because you have the Ten of Swords up here in the future. And the Five of Swords is a card of experiencing, like, it's a card of hostility, instability, feeling victimized. So you may feel that there are things around you that are not fair, or you're not being treated fairly in a relationship. Maybe you feel that the relationship that you're in has some issues about it. And with the Five of Swords, the message is not to get drawn into a drama. If someone's pushing your buttons, trying to get a reaction out of you, you can't win by engaging in the fight. And Aries, the warrior, you're going to want to engage. But the advice is not to engage. So maybe your security is being threatened in July. A relationship that brought you or maybe your financial security is being threatened in some way. If not in a relationship, it could even be in a career situation, or some kind of source of income is threatened. It's being threatened. And the thing with the Five of Swords is there's nothing you can do to change the situation. You have to kind of either accept it or move on, or cut your losses and move on. So if you're in a relationship where you feel that you've been struggling with something and nothing is working. You may decide to just cut your losses and move on, and that could be a relationship with a romantic partner. It could also be a business partnership. Something is just not right. Something is not giving you what you need, either in terms of security or financial abundance. Because the Ten of Pentacles, it's the end of the line. So if you've been experiencing abundance, there may be some kind of shakeup coming up in July where things start to change. Because the 10 is the end of a cycle. And so you might be thinking, do I need to cut my losses? Do I need to move on? And that could be, you have this Two of Cups here as the basis of the problem. The Two of Cups can be a relationship with someone that you feel a strong connection to. The Two of Cups can be a soulmate type of relationship. In a love relationship, it could mean that you're with someone that really gets you. You feel like they understand you. But there's an imbalance in the relationship because there's Five of Swords here. The Four of Pentacles, maybe one of you is too controlling. Or one of you is holding on, is not being generous with their money. Or not being generous with their time. Or not giving enough. The Four of Pentacles is about holding on to your possessions. Being afraid to let go. So that could be an issue in a relationship. One of you, it's either you or the other person. Maybe you're expecting them to be more generous and they're not. And they're holding back. Or it could also mean, sometimes the Four of Pentacles can mean that you have to learn that you have to give to receive. If you're sitting around waiting to receive, but you're not doing anything to give, to initiate, it has to be reciprocal. You can't just sit there and take. So in a relationship, when the Four of Pentacles comes up, one of you might be a taker, especially with the Five of Swords here. So one of you is giving and one of you is taking. The Four of Pentacles is also, it's like releasing control, trying not to control a situation, trying not to control the other person. Just go with the flow. You are concerned though with financial security, so you're holding on. It's like a scarcity mentality with the Four of Pentacles. I have to hold on to my money. I have to hold on to my security, because it's almost like you feel like it's slipping away. Through this Five of Swords, the fives are in instability. What was once stable is now kind of up in the air, and you're feeling a little bit insecure financially. It might be that a person that's always been there for you is not as much there, and you might be concerned about it, or you might feel victimized in some way. So some income that you were counting on, there might be some changes. And you may have to follow a different path. The Ten of Swords coming up here. That could mean the end of a cycle where you feel something's coming to an end. You're tired of giving it energy. So it could be either a relationship or a job situation. Something that involves your security is coming to an end. And you're feeling like, I don't want to give this any more energy. That's the Ten of Swords. The message of the Ten of Swords, it's almost telling you, cut your losses and move on. Because if you're giving energy to something and you're not getting anything back, or not getting what you deserve, the Ten of Swords is telling you, don't throw anymore, and don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. It's like, don't throw good money after bad kind of thing. It's time to move on. It's time to change. It's time to end a cycle. Because 2 tens are the ending of a cycle. The Page of Cups here in the future. The Page can be a child. So For some of you, you might be having issues with a child. In a relationship, the Page of Cups can be a new relationship that you've just established. So you could be, for some of you, you could have met someone new, and that's making you, consider, do I walk away from something and pursue this new thing? Because the Page of Cups is a message of love. If it's not a child, it's usually a message. Or some new creative project. It could also be a creative project. So if something ends in terms of career, it could be that there's this new opportunity to bring money in, to bring security in through something creative. Something is offered to you. With the Page of Swords here, in your negative thinking sector, there could be gossip, there could be spying. It could also mean that someone is checking. Either you're having to check something out really carefully, check all the details. So if something is offered to you, you want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. It could also mean having to have a challenging conversation with someone. Maybe you need to have a serious discussion that surrounds this Five of Swords energy. If something is not right in a relationship, you might have to sit down with someone and tell them what the problem is. Because this is a card of communication. Pages are cards of communication. But it's about but you have to be careful how you express yourself with the Page of Swords. Because sometimes this communication with the Page can be very harsh and unfeeling and not thinking. So you want to be diplomatic. If you have a difficult message for someone, like if you're thinking of leaving a relationship, maybe because you've met someone new, or if you're thinking of making some type of change, you need to be careful how you communicate. You don't want to come on too strong or too harshly. And also the Page can sometimes mean gossip. So if you've heard gossip, you need to check the source, because it may not be true. So you might be getting all upset over something that is just hearsay, just rumor. So in either case, you're going to be having to have a conversation with someone in July. And there may be some changes. There might be, something might end, and you may be taking a different path, because you do have the Lovers here in your environment, and the Star in your wish fulfillment sector. So with the Lovers in your environment, either you or the person you're involved in is really thinking about trying to make a decision, trying to make a choice. So if you're not the one trying to choose between two people, it could be that the person you're involved with is trying to choose. There might be some unexpected challenge to the relationship where you have to decide, where do I want to go with this? Where do we want to take this relationship? What, do we want to stay together? Do we want to go in different directions? If something is offered to you career-wise, you could be considering it, Do I take this opportunity? It may take me away from someone very special to me, and I'll be giving up my security. Do I want to do that? So these are the questions. Now the Star is here. So the Star means that you can fulfill a dream and a wish. The Star is hope. So whatever you're experiencing with the 5 and the 10, it's not like, it's a total disaster. What it could mean is that you're moving out of a situation that's been stagnant. You're moving away from something that hasn't been right, that hasn't been fulfilling. And the Star is, you have this dream, this hope, this wish, this goal, this vision. Star is vision. But its fulfillment comes in the future. It's not an immediate victory. It's something that you have to work toward. So it could be that if you met a new person, you have to give it time to develop. That it can be everything you want it to be, but it's going to take time. So for some of you, and here you have this Two of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. You're gonna be waiting to see. That's a card of partnership. It could be a business partnership. So you could be connecting with some new people that are going to bring you greater security. Could be a new career opportunity that comes up, and you have to decide: do I want to accept this? Do I want to stay where I'm at? Do I want to move into this new opportunity? So whether it's a relationship, leaving a relationship for something new, leaving one career path for something new, like maybe you're needing more money, or you're needing something that's more secure, because the current situation is just it's not working. And so now you're having to think, and you're having to make choices. And here, this is you waiting to see how this new situation is going to pan out. Is this going to be a good relationship? If it's a new relationship, because if it's a page, it could be someone that's just recently come into your life. And you're trying to just decide, do I accept this love, this offer? And it may mean, one thing ends, something else begins. I mean, nothing ever ends without also having a new beginning. How one door closes, another one opens. I mean, that's life. So you could be in a transition period in July. But the potential is to realize a dream. Sometimes you have to close a few doors and get on a different path to realize those dreams. But you will be forming some type of partnership in July. It could be a business partnership even. So you could be having difficulties in a relationship, but then there's this career opportunity. Whatever it is, you're going to have to make a choice, a serious decision about the path that you're on and the path that you want to be on, and you're going to be making some changes. But these changes, they may be sudden and they may seem urgent. They're going to it's kind of shaking you up out of your complacency. But the ultimate goal is to get you on the better path, to get you away from something that's not fulfilling, that's not giving you enough. You're not able to live out your full potential. So these changes are happening to get you away from a stagnant situation, so you can get into something that will allow you to live out your full potential. So hold on to that star of hope. So let's see what's happening with the astrology. July 12th, the new moon in Cancer. It's happening in your 4th house of home. And it's opposed by Pluto in your 10th house. So there is definitely this tug of war between home and career. So you could be having issues at home, and there's also like the career. I feel like you're having to make a decision about career, or make a choice. Or maybe your job is very demanding, because Pluto is involved with this new moon. So there'll be a new beginning. The 4th house is the house of security. And you have Saturn and Pluto in your 10th house. So this is really an important time for your career and your status in the world. Pluto in the 10th and Saturn in the 10th is bringing you recognition and reward for hard work. Pluto is bringing transformation and power. So you could be changing jobs or moving into a position of power where you have to really consider, so your job might be more demanding and it may be affecting your home life. But the good thing is, you have Venus, there's a grand trine around this new moon. Venus, Saturn, and Uranus. So the 6th house is work. The 10th house, Venus is in your 6th house. So you're getting, you're getting along really well with your colleagues. And there could even be, with Venus in the 6th, there could be some type of possibility for romance through work. And Uranus is in your 2nd house. So Uranus in the second is giving you fluctuations in your earnings, and you're feeling a little bit insecure at times. Like sometimes money comes in and then money has to go out, so you're feeling it's like feast or famine. But what Uranus is also doing, so you might be thinking like, maybe I need to work for myself. You want more freedom. You want more financial freedom. You're tired of the roller coaster. Uranus has spent the last 7 years in your first house. So you've been going through some major changes where you really just don't want to, you want to be authentic. You want to do work that speaks to you. You want to be in relationships. You might have ended certain situations while Uranus was going through your first house. You might have moved, changed relationships, changed jobs. Now it's going through your second house. Sometimes when Uranus goes through the second house, you wind up feeling like you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to work for yourself. You don't want to work for this, be in a corporate job. Because you want more freedom. You want more control over your life and over your financial security. Mars is retrograde though. So, and that's your ruling planet. So now is not really the time to launch anything. Now is more, and it's not the time to, Mars restricts your energy and your anger. So it's like building up. You may have things come, building up inside of you that you can't express. Sometimes it could be repressed anger. It's not a good time. Mars is not strong. You don't want to start anything when Mars is in a weakened position. So wait till the end of the summer, beginning of fall, if you're going to initiate something. So things are going to slow down in July. It's like a weird thing because there's the new beginning, but then there's all this retrograde energy. So you have this desire for something new, but you feel like you're being held back. Especially because Saturn's retrograde, Mars is retrograde. I mean, all these planets that should be moving forward are kind of telling you, hold back, wait, don't make any hasty decisions. Check into things deeply. Make sure you know what you're wanting to do before you do it. Before you commit to something that can't be undone. Check all the facts. Now, the grand Earth trine is bringing you luck and abundance. So, Venus trine Saturn, trine Uranus, you could have an unexpected relationship through some work that you do that brings you stability, that brings you security. So there could be a new relationship coming up, whether it's a love relationship or a business partnership. It can bring greater security and greater wealth. So I almost feel like you're ending something and then starting something new that's more in line with who you are. That will be better for you in the long run. Now the full moon, and it's also a solar eclipse. Sometimes eclipses can eclipse things out of your life. One thing ends, a new thing begins. And suddenly, like all of a sudden, like I wasn't prepared for this, but now I have to jump into this thing. The full moon is a lunar eclipse. That's happening in July, at the end of July, July 27th. And that's affecting your 5th house and the 11th house. It's in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is favorable to you, but there could be a culmination to a relationship or a creative project, or friendship even. Because the 5th and the 11th house is friendship and romance. So some truth is going to surface at this time. Uranus is T-squaring. It's creating tension in the 2nd house. So you could have some type of conflict or struggle around money, around security, around your self-esteem, with Uranus in the 2nd house. And Venus is opposing Neptune. So make sure, if you're getting involved with someone at work, just make sure you're seeing things clearly, that you're not idealizing something or someone. You want to make sure you're not over giving someone more credit than they're worth. Check into the details. That's what I can tell you. Because Neptune could be soulmate, but it could also be deception, glamour, where you're seeing someone in a different light, or you're living in a fantasy or delusion. And then Mercury goes retrograde at the end of the month. So this is not a time, don't make major changes based on something new that looks really like a shiny new penny kind of thing. Because at the end of, when this all is over, you may wake up and realize this wasn't what I thought it was, and I gave up something really secure for this new thing, and it wasn't what it appeared to be. So you want to be really careful when you're making your decisions. Check all the facts. Make sure you really know what's happening. Now, I mean, Jupiter's trining this Venus-Neptune opposition, so it's increasing, the energy. It could be, I mean, it kind of could go either way. Pluto's trining Venus at this time, so there could be a very intense relationship. Things come to a head in a relationship where there might be some power struggles. You might be dealing with someone that either that you're very attracted to, there's a lot of passion, a lot of strong emotion around this relationship, or you feel like this person's trying to control you in some way or manipulate you in some way. So at the same time, you have this Venus-Neptune thing, this Venus-Pluto thing. So it's like intense, and it's, for some of you, you could feel like, oh, I met my soulmate and I'm like crazy, head over heels in love, but yet you're selling your soul for this relationship because the person is controlling your life. So you want to make sure that because the emotions are so strong, and with Mercury retrograde, things are going to be changing, and you can't see that from the vantage point that you're in. So you might be making decisions without having all the facts. So if you can hold off starting anything really important until after the summer, that would be the good thing, because then you'll be able to see what will be revealed. I mean, if it's a job situation, you have to take a job. I mean, you just have to do what you have to do. But if you can postpone making any major moves until you have had time to do more research and give it more thought. Like if you've just met someone and they seem really wonderful, give it time. Don't commit right away. Don't be like, giving up your apartment or moving in and, moving across country, whatever it is. You're changing your whole life up for this one person or this one situation that may not be all it's cracked up to be. I mean, it could be something really wonderful, but only time will tell once we get out of this confusing energy. Once the planets start going direct, especially Mercury, because Mercury can mean miscommunication, confusion, misinterpretation, misconnection. And Mars, you're just feeling tired. You don't have the energy. You don't have your usual drive. You feel like you're treading water or you're walking through mud. So you're going to be trying to make some decisions about a relationship that's very important to you in July. But don't take action until after the summer. Because you may find out certain things that you can't see now that will come to light later. And then you'll be in a better position to make your decision. I hope that makes sense. Because I feel like there's a lot of, you don't want to be changing your life without having complete information. And so, enjoy July, and I will talk to you again in August. Okay, I hope this reading was a help to you. Much love and success, and I will talk to you next month. Okay, bye now.